Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Hey, Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. It's early here in Angeles City, Philippines. It's about 5:30 in the morning, and Arlen is, of course, still asleep. That is for sure. However, I wanted to record this while the events of last night were still fresh in my mind. Look, I'm just going to be really upfront about this. Usually, our videos are either about general life here in the Philippines. We have our condo here in Angeles City, and we have a house in Mindanao, or they are informative about different things that you need to be aware of as a retiree or visitor to the Philippines in general, or even in specific to Angeles City or Mindanao. But today's different. Today's going to be a lot different because I want to talk to you about something that has been gnawing at me for about a month, and that is Passport Bros. Have you heard of Passport Bros? Do you know what a Passport Bro is? What are your thoughts about Passport Bros? I'm asking these questions because I'm trying to rationalize it in my mind. I'm trying to understand it. All right, so I'll start this off very simply by saying if you're a Passport Bro and I offend you because of my lack of education when it comes to Passport Bros, I apologize because this is a learning experience for me. And it certainly isn't intended to be that way. I I have looked at so many Passport Bro validating websites, not websites, YouTubes. Okay, I've looked at people like Mike's Philippine Journey. Shout out to Mike. I've looked at, I think it's BMT. I've looked at and watched videos on several of them. And still at this point, I'm confused and I'd like some clarity. So it's been kind of gnawing at me. And you'll have to just excuse the fact that, maybe I'm just an old guy and this is a new thing. But in general, my understanding of Passport Bros is they are people, men, who are leaving the U.S. in search of whatever it is they want in their life, that they are unhappy with the way things are in their life in their country. Because I don't know if this applies to just the U.S., I don't know if it applies to other countries. I don't know how this movement works. I don't know what the status is. And I say that because I'm trying to tell you, you know something? You guys need to become a much more unified voice. There is a lot of information out there that is contradictory. And when I say that is I see large YouTube channels saying one thing or focusing in one area, and other large YouTube channels doing the same thing but opposing ideologies. And I'm trying to get to what is it? Okay. And I did an experiment last night. And I think you'll find it interesting. So before I do that, let me tell you two things. First off, number one, hey, please, if you find this video informative, if you find it interesting, if for some reason the shine on the top of my head is unique, hey, subscribe, hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. And the second thing is I need you to educate me, because by educating me, you may be able to educate others. I'm a educated individual. That doesn't make me any smarter than anybody else. I'm very educated in what it is that I'm familiar with, but you can't be an expert at everything, and I'm certainly not an expert at much of anything, to be honest with you. Finally, let me tell you, I need you to comment. I need to read those comments. I need to understand those. And other people need to read and understand those comments. Because if you don't comment, if you don't tell it like you see it, then you're not getting your ideology out there. And that's part of what this is going on. And I'm trying to educate myself because I want to understand. It's just that simple. My wife and I are, Arlene and I are very simple, down to earth, easygoing people. So help us out a little bit and educate us. I want to know. So let me tell you about last night. Last night, we were at dinner, and we went out with dinner with the folks that we're heading to Thailand with in a week. In fact, in 6 days, we leave for Thailand for a week. My wife has never been, and hey, she's always wanted to go, and it's open, and we're gonna go. So, anyways, with that being said, I ran into a guy, and here I go. I'm probably going to get in trouble for this. Somebody's going to say blah, 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 racist, whatever. Again, you've got to give me a break when it comes to trying to understand the entire Passport Bro application. I ran into a gentleman, a man of color, well dressed. It's not like he was a bum. I'd put him in his early 50s, late 40s. And I thought to myself, because I've been thinking about all of this. And here he is sitting a couple seats down from us. And I passed by him and I started talking to him for a second. And because I'd seen him before, we were at Tequila Reef. And what transpired is that all of a sudden, I don't know why I asked. I really and truly don't. I said, hey, do you mind? I'm a YouTuber, and I'm thinking of, talking about a little bit of a social experiment. And would you talk to me for just a minute? And he said, sure. So I just asked him, I said, do you know what Passport Bros are? Have you ever heard that term before? And he said, no. And that was pretty much getting to the end of the conversation. I could see that the guy was on his smartphone. I could see that he was scrolling through. I'll take a guess and say it was Facebook, but it could have been, for all I know, some sort of other website or even YouTube. But I went back, sat down with our group, and continued on with dinner. Well, as the evening went on, I started thinking more and more about this. And so, last night, I spoke with 9 men. All right? I will tell you that most of them, in fact, of the 9 men, 6 of them were over the age of 40, and one of those guys over the age of 40 was over the age of 50. I tried to limit myself only to those guys that I thought would be representative, or at least technologically literate enough to have access to the information. And whether they choose to read it or not, it's a different story. So, anyways, I spoke with them and I introduced myself to each one of them. I didn't have a camera with me, and I didn't want to put them on camera because, some people get a little skeptical about that. And this was on Walking Street. Okay? So maybe you will blame part of the demographic. I would say Walking Street would be an ideal area to at least find people that would know about this. 9 guys. I am 0 for 9. 0, nada, nothing. 9 men of color, and they do not know what a passport bro is. Now, a couple of those guys I started thinking a little bit more about as the evening went on. And I was totally sober. I had 2 drinks and then water. That was it. And we had a very enjoyable time out with our group of friends. I started thinking further, hey, you know what? Let me ask, one more question. And so I asked them, do you know about Passport Bros? And all of them said no. And I explained to them it is a movement where people are leaving the U.S. to look for what makes them happy. And that's the best definition I can give, because that's the best that I can understand it right now without trying to get into one controversial side or another. Okay? But then I asked the last 3. I started thinking, let me ask them one more question. I asked them, if you don't mind, do you live here permanently, or would you live here permanently? Is it your intent to be living here permanently? Those 3 guys all said, if I had the means to move and live here, I would. Now that's interesting to me. To me, that is really interesting. But it's another thing. So what I'm asking now that you've wasted your time this morning while I drink my coffee, what I'm asking you to do is a couple of things. I'm asking you, number 1, please comment. Really and truly comment. Because without your comments and your opinions, you can't spread the word that you want to spread, number 1. And not that it's going to spread much, because, look how small of a channel we are, okay? But educate people as to what it is. And then I'm looking for, and what I'm hoping is that there'll be some opinions, all right, that are going to be different from each other, because I want to see how there are opposing forces that apply to this. I want to see what it is that actually makes it evolve. If you're a big channel on Passport Bros, I would love an opportunity to speak with you. I'd love an opportunity to understand it. I'd love an opportunity to get details as to what a Passport Bro is or isn't. Okay? Because I think it's more than what meets the eye. I think it's more than just guys hopping out of the country to look for whatever it is they're looking for. I think there's more to it than just that. Okay? So your comments are really important here. I would appreciate it. Arlen would appreciate it. We would all appreciate it. Secondly, I'm going to ask you again, please subscribe if you find that interesting, and hit that thumbs up, because if you can change the algorithm, if you can improve the algorithm that YouTube has, and that's what that thumbs up does, it'll push it out to more people to get more ideas. I really want to try and understand from different perspectives. You can look at all of these places, but people are individual and their opinions are often individual. And so following one direction or another, it's like anything. I tell people all the time, listen to what I say. We appreciate it. But look around. You know, our opinion and the advice that we may give is not the only advice or opinion that's out there. You need to look at multiple instances of something to see everything. That's why in science, when we run an experiment, we run it more than once, all right, to qualify and to quantify the data. So, with all of that being said, I do apologize about the length, but it was nice during my coffee. Thanks so much. All right. Please subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and comment. Even if you don't subscribe, even if you don't hit the thumbs up, comment. We want to know what you know about Passport Bros, and we want to know what you think about Passport Bros. All right? Point us in the right direction, educate us, and in the meantime, educate others. That's what it's all about. Thanks so much. Have a great day, and I hope you're all doing well.